If you've ever tried to find off-grid land and you felt like everything was already picked over, too restricted or too expensive, this video is for you. I'm John from Frugal Off-Grid, moved off-grid in 2020, and one of the most commonly asked questions I get is how to actually find land for off-grid living that's affordable. And the answer usually surprises people. Here's why land websites fail. A land website is only serving up land that they're selling. They might not want to sell owner-financed land, and therefore they hide those listings pretty good. You're just going to get served the land they want to sell most, and it's a closed loop. So they might only have 50 pieces of property for sale. You're just going to continually yield results for those 50 pieces of property, and those 50 pieces of property are being looked at by thousands of other people. Most of that land is also packaged to be sold and is more restricted, and you're less likely to find what might be considered a weird listing or out of the normal kind of a listing. Owner financed, people who are just selling their own land that, a realtor's not going to get a cut of. So when I was looking for land, I realized pretty quickly what kind of results I was getting. They're less likely to show you rural land, owner-financed land, private deals, and you're just not going to find the real good stuff by browsing. I realized the best way to find land is to search. Shh, here's the secret. Search engines don't care about making a sell. They list everything. And they don't care at all about presentation. Old listings, small sellers, private sellers, marketplace, Craigslist, outdated stuff that wouldn't rank anywhere. These are the listings you want to be able to find, the ones that not everybody else is finding. There's lower demand for these pieces of property. Somebody might list something and not hear from anyone for 6 months because they're not ranking. And one day you give them a call. That guy's more likely to give you a 10% discount than anybody. On top of that, Google, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, did I say Bing? They all crawl information differently. And so if you can access them all from one place, that's a powerful tool. So the very most powerful way to find land is to search all these many different search engines and know how to put in the queries. And that's difficult to teach people just over a short message. And that's why I built this tool that automatically does everything for you. It inputs correctly the queries that I would search for to find affordable off-grid land. So to be clear, this is not a land website. I'm not trying to make a dime off of this tool. This tool doesn't show you listings. What it does is more important. It helps you to perform the searches correctly. This tool allows you to search the world's best, most powerful search engines all at the same time using queries that are going to help you to find the affordable off-grid land. All right, here's the website, Frugal Off-Grid, the Frugal Off-Grid Land Locator. There is a little explanation here that tells you to start broad. Begin with just the state and see what's available. That's how I did it. If it's too broad, add your budget next. Only after that should you refine specific owner financing restrictions or acreage. Start wide, then narrow deliberately. I'm telling you how to use it the way that I would, and to be most efficient. So when you first see the tool, look how simple it is. It's only state and price, but there are many advanced features that we can check out next. But we want to start simple. This is all there is to it. Okay? Let's start with Texas. Okay, so we put in Texas for the state, and that's it. We're going to go down here to build searches. Boop. Once you hit build searches, it's giving you those optimized searches in Google, on the open web, Bing, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, and then I also found useful Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Notice there's no crappy land search websites because they yield poor results. So you could simply hit on the Google box first. Now look what it did. Land for sale, Texas raw land, or vacant land, house, home. You see, that's a complex query that you may have never even dreamt up, that's going to help you to find these land listings in Texas. Well, you don't have $250,000 for that piece of Texas land. There's government land for sale. You see how this is automatically pulling up a lot of places that have this land that you may have never even thought of. Okay? Now, this isn't a tight enough search for me because, well, I only have $7,500. So let's go back, and you could first of all say, well, what is Bing throwing up? Because the thing is, look at that, land under 5,000, lowest price guaranteed. You see how that might be the ideal piece of land for you, and you didn't even have to bring it down. You know, you didn't have to narrow the search too much yet. Now, do you kind of get the idea how this works? Is they're putting this exact query into each one of these different browsers. Look, unrestricted land and so on, okay? Now, let's pretend that we didn't find a really great piece of land without putting in our budget, and we're going to put in $7,500, and we're going to rebuild the searches. Now, this opens first search result. That would open the first search result here, you see. But we're just going to go through them. And you can see specifically it says, land for sale, Texas, under 7,500. So now we're going to pop that in. And it's not going to be flawless, okay, guys? But it is going to more likely yield the result that you want. So there's some in Craigslist, but it didn't look like the price was spot on. Now look at this. Hunting for land. This is something in Texas, and it's talking about 6,979 down. So it's getting there. Many other options here. Foreclosures, and even allowing you to search PDFs for other, sometimes auctions and things like that. So here's a lot of different options. I didn't see something that stood out that I would really like. And so, again, there's the land under 5,000. Here we go, Texas land for under 7.5 thousand. There's one. There's one for 7,250. It's got quite a bit of foliage. Here's a land lot for 1,100. Here's one for 7,000, 2,000, 5,000, 6,000. You get the idea. And while truly unrestricted land doesn't exactly exist, in my opinion, you might be more likely to find pieces of land at the edges of counties and whatnot that are a lot more lenient when you see those listings, People list it as unrestricted because they've never run into problems with the county and whatnot. Okay, so we've got all these different listings, okay, guys? And let's just show you like Craigslist an example because it's a little bit different. I'm not seeing perfect results, it's not flawlessly giving us exactly what we want, but there were many listings that fell into what we did want. Now, there's advanced options here. So you could select for owner financing, restrictions, if it's restricted or not, high desert, which is pretty ideal for my channel. You can go by acreage, if it's rural or not, and if it has a well or not. These are pretty important things that you might not be able to search for normally. And also you could put in just your own keywords. So here's an idea. Remove the amount box, okay, because we do want to keep it as broad as possible, but we want it to be owner financed. So owner financing must include, okay. Now we're going to search that way. So we're just looking in Texas with owner financed land. And you can see, look, land for sale in Texas with owner finance, seller financing, etc. It puts in certain queries that are really going to yield what you want. See, this piece of land has owner financing. This piece, owner financed. You get the idea. And then you can go again and try that exact query. And this time put in $5,000 or whatever your budget is. And it's still going to include the owner finance. See, now we got Google Open Web Search, land for sale under $5,000 with owner financing. There it is, guys. It really works amazingly. Look at that, $5,845, and they do offer owner financing. And this is just how you're going to go ahead and search and use this to the best of your ability to you're going to get results that give you an affordable off-grid piece of property. And at the very bottom, do you want the full step-by-step plan? You can click that link to go to my Off-Grid Living for Beginners guide, and that's free as well. As you can see, finding land isn't about browsing, it's actually a skill. And the cool thing about this tool is it teaches you that skill. It's like a user-friendly version of how to use complex queries in the search engines. I think a lot of people fail at finding this kind of land because they don't find instant results. And you got to keep in mind, 7 days from now, you're going to pull up completely different listings. That means if you run into a dead end today, that doesn't mean the land doesn't exist. And I truly believe the people that find the most ideal land start out extremely broad. I searched the entire United States to start with. I didn't even put in a state to narrow it down. That's how I found such a great deal. So this tool isn't here to replace thinking, it's here to support it. It gives you the exact same framework I used to find my land, so you're not just relying on luck. If you take your time with it and you remain flexible, you'll start to find results that most people never do. And that's the whole point.